This is the Ado Air 20 Pro, and it's got two amazing features, but also loads of other cool features as well. If you're after a lightweight e-bike with a bit of class and is well made, then you want to watch this video and find out what this can do. That's it, this is my first Ado, or Ado, in 4 years nearly. It is the brand that helped kick off the channel.
Never ridden an e-bike before, and I haven't had my own bike for a long time.
And for that, I will be forever grateful. That's not to say though, I'm going to give an automatic positive review, because we are the honest review channel. Well, I'm not sure how this is going to go, because I've got a Bafang automatic motor. So when you get on this bike, it starts off really easy. Then as you get faster, it actually just gears up. And now I'm pedaling slower. It's so weird. It's got a torque sensor which kicked in, and then the motor's changed up for me, so I should be able to get away a bit quicker. 17.3 miles an hour under my own steam. So that's all me, this is. So you can really feel that Bafang 250 watt automatic shifting motor kick in. As soon as you slow down, it kind of gets down to the lower gear. Let's get under the power again, I'm knackered. So when you pull up, it's quite easy. And then as soon as you hit a certain speed, I think, I'm not sure if it's speed or cadence, it shifts up so that your cadence slows down. Cadence being how fast you spin your legs around. Right, let's talk about suspension, because we're at the worst road in Wolverhampton. It's got front suspension, and I'm happy to say that unlike the Pidzoom, it doesn't clang about. But even if it did clang about, it is lockable too, which the suspension on the Pidzoom isn't. So I'm glad they've done that. However, it does feel quite good for this road. Like, it's not too soft and squidgy. So I'd probably keep it on actually, just in case you do get a few cracks in the road. So at the moment it's unlocked, and it is fairly stiff, like I've just said on the ride. And now if I lock it, it doesn't move at all. So there's no gears on the bike, apart from those two automatic gears. Got a carbon belt drive, which is extremely quiet. It's a very quiet, smooth ride, this. The tyres, well, they're not going to do that much to absorb the bumps, but they do more than super skinny tyres. They're 1.95 inches thick and 20 inches in diameter. I've actually got indicators, and I like the indicators because they're on a switch. So yeah, they might not beep and remind you to turn them off, but if you look down, you can see that the switch is to the left or to the right, so you can quickly turn it off. We're at the hill climb. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do a fair test because it's a torque sensor, which means it only gives you most of the power when you're trying. And the idea of this is just to test the bike, and we've got no throttle. So I'm going to put that little brackets thing saying it was a torque sensor. What we're going to do first though is using the app, which is just called Ado e-bike. You can actually bump the bike up to, and it was in eco mode, so you can, oh, failure. Is it going to detect the bike? Let's choose device. It was a bit tetchy adding the device. Oh, there it is. It was already there. I don't know if it's going to work this time. It says Ado e-bike, but before it was actually saying A20 Pro. Let's turn the bike off. Turn it on again. Sometimes when you turn it on, it's like it goes into Bluetooth searchy mode. There we go. Air 20 Pro. It's detected it automatically this time. Now the app isn't the best. It doesn't do that much, to be honest. It tells you information about your ride, and it's got the kind of the maps, but it doesn't do much. You can turn the lights on and off. It's got front and rear lights, and as I said, the rear lights have got indicators. So no brake lights, but they've got indicators. Vehicle settings. I can change cycling mode from eco to sport. Done. And now it says on the screen, sport. Now with 40 Newton meters, this bike shouldn't get up Sandy Lane, and they actually said don't take it up any hills, just ride through a city environment. Well, I don't live in a city environment, and the route I take has to go up this hill, so I won't take it up the hill, but I'm just going to carry on my normal route. Go. Right, so it's in that low gear, obviously not giving much power, so what I'm going to have to do here is just pedal normally without much effort, and you'll be able to see. I mean, I'm shooting off now. That's actually quite good. So, and it's just actually shifted up. But what I'm going to do is I'm not going to try at all. I'm just pedaling normally, la-di-da-di-da, not trying. It's kind of hard to convince people that I'm not trying, because if you've watched a lot of YouTubers advertising bikes, they are literally doing that, advertising bikes and not really reviewing them, saying everything's amazing. I could be pretending to not be trying, but really I am, but I'm not, honestly. Feels good though. Like literally, I'm not, if I was trying I'd go even faster, but it's just nicely putting us up the hill. But that was all right. Up the hill, it sticks a poo around here. So I'm going at 17 miles an hour now. I have obviously gone from eco into power sport mode, sorry. That makes a difference. I'm going pretty quick now, it feels nice. 23. Whoa, I got a sudden boost there. I like this. It's funny because I like these brands. Enquiries with their Map 4N1, trying to go lightweight. Pivi with the lib on. The Addo with their air range, which to be fair, they've probably had for about a year. Right, let's see who stops for me. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep on going, because apparently bike riders don't count. Yeah, so these brands that previously have had these big fat tyre monster e-bikes, they're all going kind of lightweight legal. So when you're in the mid, kind of the late teens in speed, I'm not a massive fan of the cadence if you're trying, but as soon as you get to 20, it really works. So I'm going 26. Feels pretty good. I am tiring out a bit though. I went for a run this morning, so I'm a bit generally tired and I'm unfit. Before you found out more of the bike, let's see how it came. A little tiny box. The packing, I'm not going to say if it's good or bad. I'm just going to let you know if there's damage from now on, I think. Right, finally got all the packing off, and it looks like all we've got to do is attach the handlebars, the pedals, and the saddle. But the saddle is also the battery, so we're going to have to get that charged up first. Take this thing off. Oops. Put this thing on. Screw this back in. And these up. And then finally do the pedals. Next we have tools, pedals, a 2 amp charger which will charge the 10 amp hour battery in about 5 hours, and instruction manual. So a bit more about the bike then. So we got hydraulic brakes made by Tektro. So they're good brakes. We'll do a brake test shortly. We got an OK bell. The grips, now they don't have palm rests, but they're really good quality and they feel really nice. A lot nicer than some of the harder palm rest grips actually. I really like them. The computer, I've seen a few times on different bikes. I think it's the same as that Huga use. Well, I'm not crying by the way. I'm not sad or extremely happy. It's just it's colder than I thought it'd be. And the cold air is going into my eyes. Cute ball. Yeah, it's a nice computer, very, very visible in bright sun. It's not the sunniest today, but it's fairly bright. And the computer is very visible. Saddle, I think over a distance it might get a bit uncomfortable. But really, this bike, with its fairly small battery, 10 amp hours, 100 kilometer range, it's not meant for a range. We'll have an update at the end what kind of range you would get. But for now, let's just take a look at that battery. I really like this quick release system because it doesn't just pull out, and it's a nice big chunky thing, and it's got a little switch that you've got to pull in order to pull it out. That will allow us to release the battery, which is attached to the saddle. So it has a plug here. So if I undo that by just turning the blue thing and pulling it out, the battery comes out. I really like that system because you don't have to get under the bike like you do on the Huga Virum. And there is the 10 amp hour battery. I think actually 9.6. Well, it's been rated at 10 amp hours. Now it has got a hole in the bottom, so let's see how low it can safely go. You know what? That's the maximum. I like it actually. It's got 2 little notches there to make sure you don't push it too far. It's a nice little touch. So that's there. Close it in. That's very low actually. I think you'd be absolutely fine on this if you were like 5 foot, possibly, because you'd be like on your tiptoes. Yeah, 5 foot I reckon, maybe less. Kylie Minogue territory. Then Maximus. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's pretty high. I reckon I can get on there. Oh yeah! Get on. Actually, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's all right. So, it's probably a tiny bit too high for me at 5'9". This is probably perfect for someone about 5'11", and then okay for people up to about 6'2" or something. Remember, it doesn't have a throttle, so you are going to have to pedal. So at this height, if you're like high 6 foot and your legs are going to be going up and down because you've got to pedal all the time. Let's plug you back in. Now, it does have a key, but it's more to keep the battery safe. So if I wanted to lock it, it's got a little metal thing there. If I push that in, it'll lock. And if I take the key and twist it, the little metal thing will come back out again. Because they've made that conscious decision to have a short range commuter bike, which is meant to be not very heavy, so they've had a small battery. So the weight, well, let's take a look. So with all the accessories, it's 20 kilograms, so it's pretty light. Without the accessories, if you take off the metal mudguards and the rear rack, then it's more like 18 kilograms. But it is very light, but there's not a good place to pick it up with one hand. So yeah, with all the accessories, it's more like 20 kilograms, without them 18, which is fairly decently light, but not as light as their full carbon fiber e-bike, which I'd love to test out though. If you lived in a nice climate and you wanted to be as light as possible, you could get rid of those front and rear mudguards, get rid of the rack. They're both incredibly handy, and normally you'd probably keep them on, but if you just wanted to save as much weight as possible, then yeah, get rid of them. Part of its lightweight abilities include the ability to fold the bike, and not only does it fold, it does that really cool thing when you fold bikes. It has those magnets that allow it to clamp together, and you should be able to do that cool rolling thing to help you out at train stations. Let's take a look. First of all, we'll fold what are some of the nicest foldable pedals I've ever seen. Full metal, nice folding mechanism, really like that. Those 2 magnets hopefully going to meet together. So I had this on the lib on and it didn't quite work as well as you'd hope. And again, there we go, it's reached. So they're together. It's landed on, oh, it doesn't have one of them metal things to catch the bike, so it's actually on the chain ring, which isn't ideal. There's a bit of a skill involved. One of the things you need to do is steer it slightly in, because if you steer it out, it'll separate it because it'll go in a different direction. But if you're careful, then it is definitely a nice way to get it around a station. And then obviously, if you want it even smaller, and obviously be careful of that chain ring. I'm resting on the pedal at the moment, that's a bit nicer. Pull that out, push that down, and then nice and compact. And now I've got this bike, so very soon we'll be taking this bike, the Hugo Verum and the Pivi Libon International Edition, on some trains to see how they get on and how they work as that kind of last mile solution. So if you don't want to miss that, don't forget to subscribe. I'm going 17, 18. Whoa. Whoa. So here is it. And that's where it ended up. Now, I promised earlier that this is a review and not just promotion. I've only really said nice things about it so far. So what would I change? This is the Adu Air 20 Pro. And I'm Quentin Wilson. I really do think it should have something to catch the bike under there when you fold it, and this doesn't have one, so you need to be really careful with that. It probably doesn't go high enough if you're middle 6 foot and above. It doesn't have a brake light. It has indicators, which are cool, but I'd prefer a brake light. Whilst the automatic gears are cool, I would still prefer 8-speed Shimano Altus, even Tawny actually. Although the automatic shifter is an improvement on what I'm used to, because I had before Enquiries P275, which had a mid-drive motor, but it had a Bafang shifter at the back, And I think it was 3-speed rather than 2 like this. This one's built into the hub motor, whereas that one, because it was mid-drive, it had a separate thing at the back. And it just didn't feel nice. When you're going over 15.5, it felt fine at 15.5. As soon as you go over it, the cadence just felt too slow. And it makes you kind of think, I'd rather just have my own choice. I'd rather have my own set of gears. And I can choose whether it goes up or down. And I'd love it if there was like a little switch on here. We could hold off the upshift so it could have that faster cadence for longer. It's way better than before. It's just still not quite perfect. Yeah, it definitely works, but it's not going to be to everyone's taste. Some people will be absolutely fine with it. Other people won't like it at all. I don't know who that is. However, for what it's meant to do and for what they're trying to do, I think they've succeeded. I think they've made an excellent lightweight commuter and last mile e-bike that looks so nice. So take a look at that bike. It is a really nice looking bike, and the paintwork feels really nice, looks really nice. This is so smooth and sleek with the belt drive and the shifting Bafang motor. I mean, that's worth a lot, to be fair, having a Bafang motor, which most bikes that cost this much don't have. I'm really impressed. And it's light, and everything just works. There's nothing wrong with the suspension or the tires or the brakes or anything. It's just that not everything might be to your taste, that's all. But I really like it, it's really nice. And now I've got to decide which lightweight e-bike am I going to keep, this, the Libon, or the Verum. But I'm going to make that decision after I've taken them all on the train for a little adventure, which will hopefully happen in the next couple of months. So let's just check in now what kind of final range I got. So the range of this bike is 100 kilometers, which is about 62 miles. It looks like if I drain the battery, which you shouldn't do because it's bad for the battery, I would get about half that, about 30 miles. But then I am over 100 kilograms. It is quite cold today. And I was in power level 3. So considering it's meant to be power level 1, the rider's probably meant to be about 70 kilograms and it's meant to be a warm day. That's not too bad. And that was the Ado Air 20 Pro. Very nice e-bike indeed. And if you're interested in purchasing it, we do have a link in the description. If you use that link, it helps out the channel. If you enjoyed the video, do give us a thumbs up. But if you didn't, give us a thumbs down, but let us know why. So thank you so much for watching the video until the end. And until next time, ride safe.